Normally, I wouldn't reply to a comment like this. I don't understand why you're being so hateful towards me.
The Island Boys have been receiving fewer and fewer likes on TikTok every single month since they blew up. 10 million, then 9 million, going to 7 million, before a pretty sharp drop to less than 3 million last month. The Google Trend Graph tells a similar story. People have slowly been losing interest in these two rappers who have made respectable physical sacrifices for their career in entertainment. However, while we're not here to hate on the Island Boys, we will make the argument that they were destined to fail from the very beginning. And the first reason is because they never had a decent skill set or product to begin with. When they first blew up 6 months ago in October 2021 for their infamous I'm an Island Boy rap, it wasn't because people were impressed by their ability to sing. In fact, it was the complete opposite. The video went viral because of how terrible the song was. The Island Boys were instantly judged as two talentless bozos who had covered themselves in tattoos, and as a
okay, he's going a little bit hard. Guys, we're not here to make fun of them, but these guys are dog shit fucking talentless bozo, the clown, moronic, like
bozos who had covered themselves in tattoos, and as a result, people began to follow them for their stupidity as opposed to their talent.
And I think they're entertaining, and I follow them because they're entertaining. I love to see the stupid shit that they say.
They were mocked brutally in some of the funniest TikTok parodies ever posted to the platform, whilst being used as a representation for how easy it was to get famous on the internet in 2021.
Let's be real. How long before the Dust Bunny twins over here get a record deal, sponsors, and tours? Oh, you don't think so? Remember this bozo?
Now, the difference between the Island Boys and someone like 6ix9ine is that, well, 6ix9ine also got
Yeah.
famous in part by his over-the-top.
yeah, but he had substance though, dude. Guys, people get they don't like 6ix9ine as much as they want to, dude. This is gonna have substance or whatever the fuck. Yeah, he did it. He made music that people generally wanted to consume, and the numbers reflected. He made music. He made a product that people consumed and wanted to consume more of it. And a story.
Ridiculous appearance. He actually has a decent portfolio.
Something to back it up at least a little bit.
People hate on 6ix9ine, but only in the beginning. He then becomes well known, people check out his music, and then some become fans after realizing that his songs are actually pretty decent. Therefore, it's a solid growth strategy. On the contrary, for the Island Boys, people hate on them, then check out their music, only to realize that similar to their TikTok content, it's not worth listening to.
People don't find these guys entertaining. They're not entertained by them. Other than, oh, hey, these guys look like this. Oh, that Island Boys video was funny. What's happened since? Nothing. At all. And they keep rinsing and repeating, and they're milking it dry. Did you really think you were going to go into this club, do this a cappella Island Boys, and people were going to mess with it?
Without some decent art form to fall back on, they're unable to convert their haters into fans over time. Therefore, they either become even more hated or completely irrelevant. The Island Boys discussed this on the Impulsive podcast with Logan Paul, stating that the haters were actually fans because they were following everything that the Island Boys were doing.
They're really fans because really, think about a hater. A hater is watching you sometimes more than a person that loves
100%.
you. Yeah, and if they're hating on me, it's just because they really love me. Because I see the haters check up on me more than the love. So,
which seemed to be a variation of the "it's better to be known than to be liked" argument. However, there are so many examples of where this doesn't really apply. There are countless YouTubers who have been outed as predators.
Okay, listen. In my opinion, this really depends because I think a lot of people are haters because they hate. I think because they see the person and they know they can do better. They see somebody with a lot of potential and they're failing and they're hating whatever because they know that they could do better. Literally, I think this comes up.
Predators, for example, EDP,
Yeah, people do a lot.
and Minilad, who are both very well known, yet receive almost no views as a result of people disliking them so much that the audience goes out of their way not to.
They do one thing that they like, okay? Then they do other things that they don't like, and then they hate it. Why though? Why? They give it because they look at the other things, man. And you know.
Watch the content.
That's how
Therefore,
I
the
see it.
argument is probably better expressed as you need to have an entertainment form that people remember as being impressive, whilst maintaining somewhat of a likable reputation, which the Island Boys don't really have. People don't think about them in the context of unique, edgy artists that put a lot of effort into their music. They think about them in the context of two clowns who are famous for being famous.
Do you think that that's part of what people kind of hold against you as a grudge? Is that like your image is crazy and you're sort of famous, but maybe the music isn't necessarily the reason why you guys are so known?
right.
One of the Island Boys would go on to state that the other reason they had so many haters was because of jealousy.
Just hating on me or whatever. and it's just a form of jealousy, either that because I'm not really doing nothing.
Which is just another naive argument often made by narcissistic celebrities who lack self-awareness. Why are you so confident that people want to be in your position? Do you ever consider that maybe there's another reason as to why people hate you besides jealousy? The everyone is jealous of me argument displays a lack of critical thinking, personal honesty, and self-awareness, which was highlighted once again when Logan Paul would ask them about why they thought they blew up in the first place.
Why do you think you guys went viral in the first place with the Island Boy rap?
I worked my ass off. It's not even just the Island Boys. It's the fact that we went through so many obstacles. It was just bound to happen.
Now-
Stop. Okay, there's also one thing. Some success and some things on the internet these days, nobody fucking knows. Nobody knows what happens. There's a lot of magic to it, right? Things go crazy. Things do what. There's a lot of reasons. If you try to deconstruct and understand why, you're just gonna get lost because nobody fucking knows why. There's so many reasons, and you as a person who is on the receiving end of that, right, of that influx or whatever, you're even in the worst position to know. You just don't know shit. So I think coming out and having it, I think for
It'd be a cheap shot to say that.
yeah, I'll tell you why I watched the video. I thought it was fucking dog shit. I thought it was terrible. It wasn't even close to anything good. It was just something that made me smile and laugh. That was so fucking pathetic. I'm sorry.
There was no hard work. I'm sure the Island Boys had to have put some degree of effort into their career before posting that mega viral video. However, as mentioned previously, they didn't blow up because they had been in the studio relentlessly for 10 years straight. They blew up because they were being...
Stop! With the shush! Stop! Actually, stop,
You
man.
have that it factor.
Yes,
I'm a star.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
We're the
there you
only
go.
ones that are talented in this thing.
And this is one of the strangest parts about their whole career. They've deluded themselves into thinking that they have musical talent as a result of becoming famous.
So basically, when I was locked up, I was probably one of the only people in a dorm that knew how to rap, that knew how to freestyle, but didn't care. I think me as a rapper, my music is underestimated though. Yeah, for sure. I'm a good artist. I can sing, rap, whatever. Versatile. I can make rock music, whatever.
Even going so far as to say this when asked about their future.
What is next for you guys?
We're rappers. We care about music way more important than a lot of things. We're trying to take over as an artist, singing, rapping, because I can sing, I can rap.
And this when Logan Paul would ask them a similar question.
What's your 5-year plan?
To be always top Billboard in music.
Good God.
Maybe acting if they let me with tattoos, acting or something like that.
However, their confused response of always being top of the Billboard in music was certainly lacking in confidence, probably because at the end of the day, they know that with their current image and skill set, the music they do produce could never compete with the top of
Guys, I didn't know they had a song. I thought they would just have like skits or like extracts of
Their look doesn't help them at all in terms of music because people just see them as this ridiculous character, and it's just unfortunate for them for the future.
Disagree.
Right now, they're probably enjoying
Disagree.
it.
For example, when they post the official version of their I'm an
Disagree.
Island Boy song to YouTube, it's basically impossible.
Unless you have a product to sell that is around your image or whatever, I think having an impactful image it's just helpful, especially in those cases in these areas.
For example, when they post the official version of their I'm an Island
So
Boy
I
song to
disagree.
YouTube, it's basically impossible to find a single positive comment, despite the video's 13 million plus views. Thank you, Island Boys, you saved my brother. He was paralysed in a fatal car accident. Luckily, when I played this song, he rose and clicked the sound to mute. Wow, you
Okay,
guys definitely have a hidden talent
Jesus
that shouldn't stay
Christ.
hidden. This is my alarm clock every morning. Been waking up 30 minutes earlier just to turn it off. Thank you, Island Boys. In addition to this negativity toward their music online, they'd also receive a similar response during their public appearances. For example, they'd both attend the Jake Paul vs. Tyrone Woodley fight, where the entire crowd would try and get them kicked out, stating that they had apparently thrown a shoe at someone, which they never did.
So the Island Boys just showed up. The whole place is booing them.
The Island Boys are getting kicked out because they just threw a shoe at someone.
Additionally, in November 2021, they'd be booked to sing at Club Live in Miami, where they'd be booed by the crowd after yet another underwhelming performance, at which point the audience would discover another reason behind why their career wasn't going to last for the long term. They were completely unwilling to take advice from more knowledgeable role models in their field. Going back to the Impulsive podcast, the Island Boys seemed pretty proud that they had paved their own path after Mike would ask them about which rappers they had been inspired by.
What was your inspiration? Like obviously you guys listen to rap music coming up.
I try
kinda sad
not
a
to
little bit, I
listen to
agree.
nobody because I feel like it betters my mindset.
Is that why you guys have such a unique sound?
Yeah, I feel like the best thing is I think go back to the reason why did it work? Why did it work? And why do people care? Or whatever. I think these guys are very separated from that
I feel like
knowledge.
it betters my mindset.
Is that why you guys have such a unique sound?
Yeah. We don't listen to rappers. Nowadays, I don't. I used to listen to a lot of rappers.
Do you think you should start listening to them again?
No.
No,
Because
you're gonna try to steal
because
their flow.
they already made it. And I'm not trying to like, you know what I'm saying? You make it more being yourself. I'm not trying
Are
to
you sure?
brainwash
About being yourself?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I agree with you guys to
Well,
an extent of not like being swayed by other people, but also at the same time, like the current winners in the culture act as like guardrails and guidelines for what you do with your craft.
Mike is 100% correct here. If they were to copy another artist completely, people will call them out as copycats. However, if they decide to completely ignore the valuable lessons and current trends set by the industry's leading artists and walk their own path without any inspiration from anyone else, they're just going to end up sounding like, well, the Island Boys.
Is that how you end up in a place where you sound like you guys do, which is so drastically different? Like I wouldn't even call it hip hop. Like it's not rap, right? Like what is it?
They don't even really seem to understand what their own genre of music is.
I was trying to go for more a melodic sound. When you keep on rapping in the same
Cadence.
in the same form, you got no flow. Like it's the same flow.
Monotone.
Kind of monotone.
Oh my god.
And going back to their inability to take advice from others, that eventually walk out of the Impulsive podcast after George would provide them with what seemed to be some tongue-in-cheek yet useful financial advice.
I think if God forbid it doesn't
What the fuck? What?
go in your guys'
To be some advice from others, that eventually walk out of the Impulsive podcast after George would provide them with what seemed to be some tongue-in-cheek yet useful financial advice.
I think if God forbid it doesn't go in your guys' direction, for real, I think you guys take all of your jewelry assets and invest into something. So you guys will never ever be.
Okay, I do agree. This is kind of rude. I don't like this angle either. This is kind of lame.
Broke again.
After storming out of the interview, an article will be released by HITC.
Guys, nobody wants to go on a podcast and get ambushed by some guy who's already making plans for when it's gonna fail. Nobody wants to hear that shit. Nobody. No, that's lame.
George
Stop that.
Janko vs. Island Boys net worth compared after podcast feud, which put the Island Boys net worth at $100,000 compared to George Janko's net worth of $600,000. With the Island Boys being so offended by George's
Guys,
basic
it's true. You're right. But it's just lame though. Guys, do I? Am I gonna go invite some sludge on my podcast that I have tomorrow or the next day and say, hey man, you know, in 3 years, where are you gonna go? Are you gonna do law school? Because clearly, whenever you're streaming, you're not gonna make money. And you're gonna have to retire because you're not making enough money for the rest of your life. Your dog shit. Quit the fucking. Like, I'm not gonna do that, man.
financial advice, and the semi-accurate idea
It's
that offensive things are just self-deficiencies that you're yet to address. Their emotional response to what George had to say is also a pretty good indicator.
Ask about where they're going. Ask about where they envision things. Ask what the path is, the journey is. Don't fucking tell them what they're gonna do on their downfall. What the fuck is that, man?
The Island Boys are probably pretty unwise and insecure when it comes to their financial situation. You know they're also insecure about their future if they flip out on a simple question like that. George didn't say anything offensive. The world is laughing at these boys, not with them. I refuse to believe there's people this insecure when it comes to money in this world, lol. This was also the opinion held by a financial YouTuber named Graham Stephen.
This sort of confidence and arrogance, I do think would end up getting in the way. Financial advice is like not something to get offended about. I mean, there's nothing in there that should have been offensive.
Graham also reiterated what was
it's not financial advice. It's also doubting their entire career, whatever. It's not only about financials. It's just not, dude.
Earlier about the unlikely nature of their career lasting for the long term.
A career like this could last you anywhere from a few months to a few years. We've seen so many people come up like this where they blow up big and then all of a sudden they do nothing. They can't carry that momentum. And for this right now, they're good for going viral. But I'm not sure if that could be sustained or if that could be translated into a success.
Guys, stop justifying certain behaviors, or whatever, because it's these guys, they're memeable and they're crash and whatever. Stop justifying behavior because it's somebody else. But it's just trash, man.
It's for career long term.
Before going on to once again discuss how George was probably making just as much money as the Island Boys.
I don't see anything here that would say George is making less money than the Island Boys. If anything, he could be making the same, if not more.
However, when this point will be put against the Island Boys on TikTok, they seem to share a differing opinion.
I'm gonna say it respectfully in the most humble way as possible. I doubt he's making any new money like how Island Boys are. We are successful and happy in life.
Which will be followed by another TikTok, once again displaying their inability to take the advice of others and their desire to walk their path of success alone.
But if someone's talking about my financials, I don't want to hear it. You're not the one that's making me millions of dollars. I made millions of dollars myself. You know what I'm saying? It's just me doing it myself alone, you dig?
Overall, the reason behind why the Island Boys are already on their way out was summarized simply and obviously in a comment made by a YouTuber called Hello Yassine.
It's short-term hustling, and we've seen this exact same quote unquote business model, I guess you could call it, being done, but this doesn't last.
It doesn't last if you. Yeah, I mean, he's right. It doesn't last without any substance. They didn't.